In the first 5 years of my enterprise sales career, I made about $400K total. Not per year, total. In the next 8 years, still as an individual contributor, I closed multiple deals at or above $50 million, and I made and saved multiple seven figures. Same role, same company, different skills. Not the typical skills for sellers like prospecting, discovery, objection handling, things like that. The three skills that I'm gonna walk you through in this video are the ones that got me into the room with CFOs, CEOs, and let me close deals most sellers will never see. Let's get into it. So skill number one, work fewer accounts way deeper. The first skill is all about how you go about making your bets, which accounts to lean into, and it's the opposite of what most reps are taught. The average seller gets tens to hundreds of accounts and they try to work all of them. A few emails here, a discovery call there, whoever responds gets the attention. The reps making $500K and above pick 5 to 10 accounts to focus on for the entire year. Every other account in the territory gets less attention. They're not ignored, they just get less attention. That might sound counterintuitive until you understand the math. Closing 30 deals at 50K each is not easier than closing 3 deals at 5 million each. Both run the same full buying process from discovery, demos, decision, procurement, legal, security. The process tax, that burden that you go through of a deal of any size, it's not that different, but the upside is completely night and day. How to pick the right accounts. Most sellers pick accounts that have shiny logos or where they happen to get the last meeting. Those characteristics have zero correlation with the evidence that you need to see is a large deal possible in this account. Strategic sellers look for 3 things: budget to spend at scale, a painful, costly pressure that connects directly to what you sell, and at least one initiative their executives have publicly committed to where you could attach yourself. Here's a pro tip on account selection that I got from an Oracle EVP when we were on a customer golf trip. I was asking him about how could we engineer a rip and replace of our biggest competitor in one of their biggest accounts. He stopped me and he said, hey, if the senior leader who brought in your competitor is still in the role, they will never consider a rip and replace, because doing that would basically be admitting a failed project and they'd lose face internally. So move on to another account. That's 30 years of enterprise sales wisdom handed to me on a golf course, and I never forgot it. The research that separates you. Most reps think that good research means scrolling LinkedIn, reading the About section of the website, skimming a press release before a call. Any executive can spot that preparation in 30 seconds. The sellers at the top of their game go much further than that. Some scroll YouTube and financial media to find out what it is that senior executives are saying to the public media. They're listening for recurring priorities, specific language, tone, what that person cares about when the cameras are on. Others have actually reached out and connected with the analysts who are on the earnings calls of the accounts they're trying to sell into. They do that both to research the account and to find non-traditional paths into that account and the ecosystem around it. When you open your mind to creative ways to learn what's really going on in your accounts, the possibilities are endless. Before I get into the second skill, if you want the specific AI workflows that the highest earners are using right now to reach and engage customer executives, go check out my free training in the description below. It's the first link. Okay, let's get back to it. Skill number 2, use your own executives to bypass the org chart. The second skill is learning how to use your own executives to get into the rooms that close $5 to $20 million deals. Most sellers try to work their way bottom up. You get a mid-level contact, you hope they'll introduce you upward, and 3 to 6 months later, you're still talking to the same person you started with. Here's the problem. Mid-level managers don't want to risk their credibility introducing a sales rep to their boss. So you end up stuck in the middle of the organization with no control over your deal and no line of sight to their decision makers. The truly skilled seller skips all of that. They use one of their own executives, a VP, an SVP, a CRO, to reach out at a peer level to the executives within the customer. Senior people take calls from peers. They much more rarely take calls from sales reps. Firstly, you got to get your own executive to care about your deal. You can't just walk up to your CRO and say, hey, can you email this customer for me? They get asked that like 50 times a week. Instead, build a tight executive briefing document where you say, okay, here's the account, here's my point of view on their challenge, here's the potential deal size that it could support, here's the research that backs all this up, and here's all that I need from you right now, 1 email. email. When your executive sees that the potential deal size is significant and they understand that you're doing all the legwork and the only thing they have to do is like a cameo appearance, they usually say yes. Okay, the next step is to ghostwrite the outreach. Don't ask your executive to write the email. Oftentimes they won't do it. They're busy and the blank page is just friction. They don't have the context. Write it yourself, put it as much as you can into the voice of your executive and make it ready to forward. All they have to do is basically hit send. One practical note, if the email is going to come from your executive's account, make sure to rope in their EA for the calendar coordination. It's the way that it's always done. So EA talks to EA and things just happen and there's very little friction in that. Here's what that email could look like in practice, built from a real Wiser point of view on United Airlines targeting the CEO. Now, let me walk you through why this email is built the way it is. The subject line, a thought on your Q1 margin. It's designed to be humble and specific. It doesn't tease, it doesn't pitch, and it works whether it comes from you, the seller, or from your executive. The financial paragraph is where most sellers just get it wrong. They write something vague about operational efficiency. What we wrote instead is 580 million per margin point at your current revenue run rate. That word, undercounting, tells him that his own team might be missing something important. A credible gap is one of the only reasons that a senior leader is going to respond to an email like this. 2 proof points, 1 metric each. The product is only mentioned once, and that's after he's already bought into the problem. It's under 150 words. It's built entirely from his own data. 1 insight that his own people may not have surfaced yet. That's the email. But the email is just the entry point. Let me show you what the full move is going to look like in a real deal. So this is from my early days at Oracle when I was in this RFP at one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. It had a global footprint. It's a household name. It was a serious deal. It was somewhere between 5 to 10 million if we won it. We were competing hard. We were deep in the sales process. And then the questions from the customer's project team started changing. The RFP team stopped asking about what our product could do out of the box. They started asking about flexibility, custom configurations. Can you build something just for us on top of your standard product with the kind of direction that it was going? That language was a signal. It meant that someone, in this case, almost certainly a big management consulting firm like Accenture, was already in the room with them reshaping what they thought they needed. It was moving away from a COTS product, something off the shelf, into custom territory, which we could not win. I didn't try to counter that at the project level. There was no version of that conversation that I was going to win with that level of people who were in the RFP. So I went to my own CEO and I said, hey, we have got to change the game at the highest level. I put together everything that he needed in the briefing doc, scheduled time with him. We went over the account, the potential deal size, the competitive situation, the shift in the conversation, and my ask, which was that he get to the CIO and get him off of the idea of something custom and get it back on standard software. I gave him 1 task and I boxed it in to make it really simple and digestible for him. I wrote the email for him. He had all the context. I gave him his assignment and he executed. He reached the CIO directly, which was 4 levels above the project team who was driving the RFP. They had the conversation. He made the case that the custom solution was the last thing that the company needed to care and feed something every single year because they were the only one using it. The CIO agreed, and that view came all the way back down into the RFP team. That move saved us from being eliminated by mid-level players in the first round. That's what executive engagement actually looks like. Not, hey, can you just join my call? It's a deliberate move made at the right level, at the right moment, without fear or hesitation. The third skill is using AI to do the research and the deal prep that used to take a full week or more, but do it in just a fraction of time. When I was doing this at Oracle, to pick really strong accounts, the research to find those accounts alone was 7 or 8 hours of account research. Building a point of view on top of that was another days or weeks. Hypothetically, if you look across 10 accounts and that type of upfront investment, you're looking at hundreds of hours of deep work before you made a single phone call. That's why most sellers can only do this well for 2 or 3 accounts before the quality starts to drop. AI changed all that. I spent months figuring out how to use AI properly for enterprise sales, not summarizing news articles, but pulling the strategic picture out of earnings calls, executive interviews, financial filings, public disclosures, press releases. I couldn't find a tool that did it the way that I wanted, so I built one. It's called Wiser. Wiser is what I use now to do in an afternoon that used to take days, weeks, sometimes months. If you want to find out more about Wiser, here's the URL. You can go see it there. And if you want to see exactly how really skilled sellers are using AI across all of the workflows in their deals, not just the upfront stuff like the research and the point of view, but also the executive engagement, the how to find the value, the negotiation to defend the large price, go check out the free training that I mentioned earlier. It's in the first link in the description below. It walks you through specific prompts and workflows that you can copy and model starting tomorrow. It's not like a 70-hour work effort to get this done. And if you want to learn how to read an annual report as an enterprise seller, watch this video next.